welcome to my spoiler-free review of Life is Strange Double Exposure. I'll be breaking this video into 5 main parts, that being gameplay, story, characters, extra stuff like graphics and music, and then my final thoughts and opinions. Remember, this is all my own opinion, so of course what I think or feel about the game might not be what everyone agrees on. Now without further ado, let's begin. The core gameplay functions the same as all the other games before it. You walk around, look at and interact with objects, talk to people, and make choices through dialogue and actions. It works well for what the game is and has no real changes from the games before it. The next big part of the gameplay is Max's new power, which is being able to travel between 2 different timelines as well as seeing and hearing the opposite timeline. In my What I Expect video, I talked about how they could use this in one of 2 ways. One, they could use it a lot as it would be the main gameplay mechanic that sets it apart, which makes sense. Or two, they could use it sparingly because Max knows the dangers that can come with powers. Of course, they did go with you being able to use powers at pretty much any time, as it is the unique thing about the game. Personally, I think this mechanic was used well for solving puzzles and gaining information. From a lore standpoint, I wish it was used less because Max knows what happens when she uses her universal bending powers, but I do admit it would be boring if you could only use the power like 3 times. Overall, I think the gameplay is solid, the new power is cool and fun to use, and it fits the Life is Strange formula very well. In my opinion, the story was good. Not phenomenal, but definitely not bad. I think the mystery played out well, and overall it kept me intrigued and had a couple of great surprises. Story is probably what most people are getting this game for, and whether you like this story or not will heavily depend on what your expectations for this game are. I think going into it with an open mind and enjoying what the game has to offer is your best bet to get the most out of it. This doesn't guarantee that you'll love this game, but it does give it a fair shot at what it is trying to do. That really is all I can say without getting into why from plot points or comparing it to the other games. Personally, I think they did Max great in this game. She feels like the same character but has some more experience and confidence. We get to see a more joyful side of Max that we didn't really get to see too much of in the first game. One of the biggest things I wanted to see was how she was impacted from the original, and they do a great job of that. The only, and I really do mean only thing I have a problem with is how easily she seems to use her powers. But I've already kind of gone over that. Overall, Max was great, and it was nice to see her again. I don't think I can really get into more of specific characters without some minor spoilers, but here's what I can say. The cast felt fairly small, and there was only a handful of people you could actually interact with. Of course, there are 2 different versions of these characters, so it kinda balanced out. The people overall felt pretty realistic and interesting to interact with, and I think that most of the characters were generally solid. Now I'm on to all the extra stuff that I want to talk about, but isn't as major. Starting with graphics. The graphics look great, but this has come at the cost of nearly all of the original look. The original painted and drawn look is barely there, with it only really being in the character's hair and when looking at things like photos or flyers. Now, I'm not against the game trying to look good, but this is a major hit to something that made the original stick out so much and gave it so much personality. It's not something that I have a real issue with, but it is something I will definitely miss. On the plus side, the animation is better than ever. Facial and body animation look great and really help to show characters' personalities and emotions. Now, on to the music, which I thought was pretty good. They had different themes for the different timelines, and I particularly liked the original timeline as it had a nice mystery vibe to it. They also had an actual song with lyrics as the main theme, which was interesting, and I enjoyed and thought it fit well into the game. Overall, the music is good, but nothing particularly special. Now I want to move on to pros and cons, starting with cons. First thing I want to bring up is that there were just some very, very minor bugs, and I mean, I saw like two very small floating items. They were both like pens, and then there was just one character whose hat was kind of just always like clipping, or not necessarily clipping, but just like vibrating, was like probably attached to them or something. But those are the only like kind of bug related things I saw. Nothing that broke my game, so that's good. Plus, it's like day of launch. All games pretty much have that. Um, One of my bigger issues is kind of like the modernization of the UI. This is whenever you're interacting with something, and I hover over. It's like press triangle to look, press square to speak. Right? It looks just so clean, so modern. It just kind of seems a little boring because the original games had everything looked drawn or handmade, and now it's lost a lot of that, and it kind of sucks because it's once again it's something that gave the game personality, and I just hate to see you know, stuff like that leaving. I mean, it's not going to hurt the game to have a little bit of charm like that. But at the same time, it's fine. It's not a huge deal. It's not like ruining the game for me. It's just something that I miss. Another thing, this is very minor. This game has replay trophies, which, a lot of games like this have replay trophies. But it's the first time a Life is Strange game has, and it's like, oh, okay, well, you know, I guess. I mean, I have no real problem with it. I'm working on that as of recording, but I mean, I don't know. First time a Life Strange game has had it, but hey, I'm fine with it. The game's not too long, so it's not like, oh my gosh. Anyway, that's a small thing. Um, and then, okay, you're gonna hate me for this, but I did in fact get the Ultimate Edition, and I can say, as a first-hand account, it ain't worth it. Do not. Right? Cat content is about 10 minutes of content tops. It's just not worth it. If it was like a whole DLC that kind of like wavelengths from True Colors that took place, before or after the game or something, it would be great. But no, it's just adds a cat into the thing that it really doesn't do a whole lot for you. It's not worth it. Don't recommend. Plus, also outfits. I personally don't care for outfits. They're not my like main goal when I'm playing this game. So it's not something I find worth it to have to spend money on. So I personally do not recommend the Ultimate Edition. Just buy the regular edition, not even the deluxe, right? Just regular, please. That being said, if you did really enjoy this game, there's the collector's edition, which is a physical thing that you have to buy, I think, off of the website. Just look it up. I don't know. But yeah, in that, I think it's $40, but you get like records, audio from the game. You get the in-game journal, and you get like a physical pen and maybe something else. I don't know. It's been a while since I like heard about it. But yeah, if you really enjoy this game, get that. Not the Ultimate Edition, unless you absolutely loved this game. Favorite game of all time, then sure, I'm not gonna stop you. I'm not gonna recommend it personally. Um, yeah. So yeah, I know. Hate me for that. Yeah, I committed a sin. I learned my lesson. Don't pre-order and get the Ultimate Edition in the game. Yep, that's my bad. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much all the cons I have with the game. And unfortunately, I do have pros. I do have pros, but it's all things that would be like spoilers, so I can't really say. Like and a lot of this is also stuff already covered. Like I really liked how they did Max, and um there were a couple characters who I really liked. Vin, Amanda, Moses. These are all characters Max interacts with, and I enjoyed them a lot. They were fun. They were right. But yeah, outside of that, I can't really talk about any of the other pros I had with this game without spoilers, or I've already messed them up. So that's pretty much all the extra stuff I wanted to cover with the game. Overall, I think Life is Strange Double Exposure is a good game. It handled its gameplay well, the story was interesting and, in my opinion, pretty decent. The characters were good, and Max was very well done. My biggest worry is that this game is going to be held to the standard of the first game. And that is a bar I don't think any of the games will be able to reach again. Yes, this is the first direct sequel to any of the Life is Strange games, but it is trying to do something different than its predecessor, and I'm willing to accept that. There were a lot of things I couldn't talk about in this video, so if you have played the game already or want a more in-depth review at the cost of major spoilers, make sure to check out my full review when it comes out. As I've said before in previous videos, I have not interacted with the Life is Strange community outside of my own videos, so I currently don't know what a lot of the consensus is on this game or the others. I am interested to see what people think, so let me know in the comments, and please try to keep it spoiler free for anyone who does watch this and hasn't played the game. And that's going to be it. Thank you for watching.